What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Skate Hacks, and today we're going over Nollie Hardflips. This is one of my personal favorites. What you'll notice here is that I do them pretty vertical. It's kind of difficult actually to do a Nollie Hardflip horizontally, or same thing with fakie Hardflip. That's just usually how it goes. It's just kind of the nature of the trick. I like to do my regular Hardflips more horizontal if I can, but with Nollie Hardflips it's just more of a vertical type trick. And it's really hard to commit to. It's one of those tricks, just like when you're learning regular hard flips, it's really hard to get used to that flick. It's really weird, and a lot of people are scared of credit carding themselves, understandably so. And once you get over that commitment gap, it's just smooth sailing from then on. You just got to know a few tips on how to really just make it work. So this is how I set up for a Nollie hard flip. You'll see that I'm set up almost like a Nollie tray flip here. I put a lot of pressure on the toes, and there's a good reason for that. I'll get into that in a little bit here. And back foot kind of pointed like a Nollie flip, except a little bit closer to the nose. I like to put it more in the center of the board. It gives it a better flick. So the reason why I put pressure on the toes here on the front foot with the toes hanging off is for the same concept that I explained in my tray flip tutorial. So I'll put a link in the description below to the tray flip tutorial where I reference this similar concept. You want to not only pop off the nose, but you're going to put pressure on the nose. So you're going to be popping off the corner of the nose, and this tilts the board once you pop it, and it helps you flick the kick flip a lot easier. So I explained this in my tray flip tutorial. Obviously a tray flip is a much different trick, but the concept remains the same. The concept is that you put pressure on the toes, and it really tilts the board in that direction, which, even though is the opposite direction that the board's not going to be flipping in, it makes it easier to flip it because it brings the grip tape closer to your flicking foot. It really helps out with getting the kickflip done, which is very important with this trick. And the most important part, in my opinion, is really just not just flipping with this trick with the back foot, but getting it out of the way. Anytime you're doing a Nollie inward heel flip or a hard flip, or hard flips or inward heel flips of any type, your foot's going to need to get out of the way once you flip it, and that's a very difficult thing to learn. So you'll see here that I'm practicing, popping the Nollie hard flip and just getting the flick going, but I'm not really committing. And that's something that I recommend doing when you're learning this trick, is not really committing to it from the get-go, but just learning how to deal with that awkward flick and just allowing the board to flip in between your legs, because it can be very scary, and it's just a very awkward trick if you're not used to it. So you'll set up like similar to a Nollie tray flip like I am here. You'll put pressure on the toes, you're going to pop straight down, and you're going to do that awkward flicking motion where you just sort of let the board flick in between your legs, and you keep your feet sucked up so it stays out of the way. And if you don't do that, your back foot is going to end up hitting the board again unnecessarily, and you could credit card yourself or just bail out, and you definitely don't want that to happen. So something that's very important with this trick, besides getting that awkward flick down, is just keeping your feet out of the way. Flick it out and just see what happens with it. Just keeping your crotch away from the board, and not really having to worry about going full force and committing and just sucking both feet up. You can just kind of flick it out and see what happens, and then over time you just slowly get used to it and just start trying to commit with both feet. So those are my tips on Nollie hard flips. It's really about just putting the pressure on the nose. That's how I like getting it done. Just flicking, no scoop, just popping straight down, sucking your feet up, and just getting your feet out of the way, allowing it to do that awkward flip in between your legs. Super fun on banks, hips, stair sets. Comment down below for any future skate hack suggestions you'd like to see. Thank you guys for watching as always, and see you next time.